Hey all, welcome back to the TSR Bagocast for January 16th. Sorry, I'm a little tired tonight. It's been a long day.
Don't worry about it.
Everyone's here. We're all here. We just want to start off by kind of paying some respects to the Super Gaming Brothers who kind of announced this last week that 2020 is going to be the end of their run. They're going to have one last year of LPs and we're gonna end it. Normally, we don't bring up other content creators on our stuff as much, unless they're a guest or we really like their work. But I figured we all came together because of SGB, and we all have an attachment to them. So a little bit of respect.
hmm It's unfortunate because it's one of the Let's Play channels that I actually like. I don't subscribe to any Let's Play channels because I always found them very dull. That's why, I never really found the concept of a Let's Play that entertaining. Because why the hell would I do? Why the hell would I find it if I can make it myself? So the SGB pretty much meant a lot because it was on one of the few Let's Play channels that actually followed. So.
Yeah, I always respect the entire. I mean, I have my issues with the entire community, but I always like Brain Scratch. I always like SGB, Some Call Me Johnny, and at least Some Call Me Johnny and all of them are kind of gonna keep doing their own thing, But
They
it's kind
won't
of
stop making
sad.
content.
Yeah,
Please.
it's just kind of sad that it's like, after all that, it's kind of come to an end.
The group that
It's like
we've
10
all,
years, man.
the group of them all that we've watched go through highs and lows and all that. It's over.
Yeah.
It's surreal.
Yeah, it's gonna be over. I mean, it's still not over yet, but yeah, it's gonna be over in 2021, So
Better
like you
announce it
said.
now than like a month before. So.
Oh yeah, I
the
mean,
fans
like to go to another content creator that kind of suddenly, like Super Best Friends suddenly ended one day, and that was tragic.
Yeah.
Oof, yeah.
At the very least, we're getting a year advance, and from what we know, they want to go out with a bang. So.
Yeah.
And I believe they will.
At the very least, we have that.
Yeah.
10 years is a long time for anyone to keep content up. So, major congrats to them for making stuff this long, and I look forward to seeing what they'll do now. They'll have more free time to create more stuff. So.
I mean, Johnny's still going to be part of the Brain Scratch commentary crew, so
As far let's not say that. As far as we know, he's already pulling away from them a little bit, so he could easily just kind of quit that one as well. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, anyway, let's just get a little bit of casualness in here. How was your guys' week?
Well, I've been playing few games, and starting with a game called Star Traders Frontiers. It's pretty good, albeit a little bit grindy, but I like the major.
We'll save a little bit of that talk for a future date to be disclosed later.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that for now, my first impressions in a nutshell is that the game has a huge barrier of entry, but once you get that through, you actually have a better experience that way. And it's pretty fun. I've had a lot of fun. But yeah. Other than that, I've been playing the same games as usual. BB Tech, Download Breakers. I started to dabble a little bit on Final Fantasy 13 too, before that game constantly crashed to death, and I decided not to play anymore. And a little bit of the Phoenix Wright trilogy because I had to finish that shit. Mostly for the sake of my Steam account. So yeah. That was about it for my week.
Yeah, and as far as for my week, it was fairly quiet. I just had played a couple board games and not much. Just watching a couple series here and there. I'd like to get back in Final Fantasy 15 so I can get through that game and see what it has to offer for the rest of the way. I have Super Mario Odyssey still that I want to get through as well. And other than that, there's my massive Steam library. That I'm not going to worry about that just yet. But for now, I'm pretty happy where I'm at, and I'll let you guys know if I do end up playing more games soon.
So, aren't we playing a game?
Well,
It's called Life.
We're revisiting a game.
The game is called Life, and you never stop getting played.
So yeah, Sus and I started playing Dead Rising 2 mostly because we're doing streams on it rather than the usual Let's Play format. So yeah, it's been pretty fun. Like, we recently had a near fucking death experience because we were about to run out of time. Yeah, thankfully we managed to get through.
And again, you knocked Yule out again while I was taking out enemies. But
I wanted to join for that, but I had something work related to deal with, so fortunately I had to miss it.
Yeah.
I mean, so far the game's not that bad. But once we get to the psychopaths, I guess that's where we're gonna start banging our head against the wall. But we'll see.
I think Dead Rising 2 is a fun game. I think it's just sad, like, that you need to get the fucking Frank West version to get the no time limit, just have fun version of the game. It's like every single time you play it on normal, the normal version of 2, you have to go through the time limit.
Oh yeah, the sandbox mode. Yeah, now
Yeah.
I got what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, sandbox mode. Sorry, I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, we like that Rising 2 because of the time mechanic. We like the challenge of it, and most of all, we also like we like to manage our time. Zeus and I, believe it or not, like we're pretty much like
Well, Zeus I buy. Zeus is 100% time management, so
yeah, we're pretty much
you a little bit of a buy, a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, and I actually like them. I actually am the fan the Dead Rising fan that brought Zeus into Dead Rising. Actually,
Yeah, you
Like-
did.
Hopefully, we can do a proper LP of that game at some point in the future.
yeah,
I
hopefully.
don't want to revisit the same games I played though. But I don't know.
Yeah, well,
we can
see what-
sit out on it then. I mean, because I feel like the spontaneousness of it kind of, I don't know,
Yeah,
rob
yeah,
people of a
like,
potential LP we could have had. But at the same time, it's still cool. It's a cool game to use the stream format on.
yeah. Like for example, Legon could join me as player 2, or we could just hop out of it and let Weed and Lego
Lego.
play it. Like,
Yeah, we could. I mean, who knows? We'll see. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Anything else you really got into this week?
Not really.
What about you, Legon?
Mhm.
Hey, we're not talking about things that are podcast specific.
Eureka
Yes.
sucks.
Eureka
Eureka
sucks.
in Final Fantasy XIV is the worst kind of content in the game. How did they even think this was good? I have...
Oh
Ugh.
man. Well, okay. Maybe I'll make a little bit of an addendum on. Maybe we should make this a little bit of a news story if you want to get into it a little bit later and like tell
No,
us
it's
what it
just
is.
more of just my criticism of the
happened?
content in general, because it just... it's basically...
What's wrong? What's wrong with it?
TLDR. It's Final Fantasy XI in Final Fantasy XIV, and for anybody that's played Final Fantasy XI, you know that's a
Wait.
bad idea.
Wait, so they just reverted back to version 1.0?
While actually having the game work, yes.
Wow.
Wow.
That's dumb.
That's kind of that's a
And
mistake.
people are starting to say that it's the best version of the Relic quest that they've ever done, and I'm just here like,
What?
Really? oh no. I mean, later
Really?
on in the Eureka stuff, they do add unique gimmicks to it, because
Oh, okay.
at the same time, it's still like, why not just go with the old system of just do old content instead of just this unique thing that's completely unconnected from everything, and you can't do two things at once. I don't understand. Besides that,
Wow.
I've been playing Resident Evil 2 remake. I got a handgun knife only run completed.
Oh, you did. You did. You've been talking about that for a minute now. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was actually really interesting and kind of fun. It's like, the funny thing about that is I didn't know that you could get the shotgun in the lab if you just ignored it in the police station.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I've been having fun
Wait,
with a
you
lot
can? Wow.
Yeah,
I
if
didn't
you
know that.
yeah, it's really interesting. But
What's
I,
your
That's
next
an
goal in
interesting
RE2? I'm curious, Legon. What are you trying to do in the game?
I don't really know that yet, because right now I'm just practicing for the eventual Let's Play down the road in hardcore mode for Claire. That's gonna
Alright,
be a
well-
pain. Kinda.
Yeah.
You
And
got
preparing
this.
and probably preparing yourself for Resident Evil 3 remake as well, because it's gonna be equally as
That's
tough.
why I've been playing too, because to get into my week, I guess, since I think that's kind of
Yeah,
all.
you can go
Isn't
ahead.
that all? Yeah, is that all? Okay. then to transition into my week, yeah, I've been playing a little bit of RE2. I've also gotten finally back into disc or volume 2 of Dot Hack. It's pretty good. GU and been catching up on Devil May Cry 5. I'm trying to get all my data back on it because I lost it when I lost my PS4, and it's good. I mean, I love Devil May Cry 5, and I'm happy to be playing it again. And I'm on mission 9, but it's kind of sucks because like I don't laugh. I know why you're laughing, but to Yule being or whoever was laughing being a dick aside, um, I'm bittersweet about getting back into DMC5 because I love it, but I also have when I beat it the first time I beat Son of Sparta mode as well, so I have another like romp through that I need to get through, and that can be kind of daunting. So it's because it's not a long game, but the difficulty can ramp up a little bit with each new difficulty. So definitely a romp, and yeah, and I've been working at my new job. That's pretty good, you know. Happy days for that. And other than that, yeah, I haven't really been doing much, you know, other than this, Smash practice, DMC5, the works.
So much free time during the week, man. I feel ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be going down a lot drastically. So I definitely won't be playing as many games in as much of a frequent time. So I'm enjoying it while I can.
I mean that's the reason why you always enjoy the free day because it allows you to play more games.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, with that said, I think we should. Someone was laughing a second ago, and I think we should give context to why they were laughing. Smash DLC 5 got revealed this week. And the one thing, it was on my first day of work too. Like it was so like destined to be perfect, right? And it just wasn't. For the one specific reason that we got Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses in Smash Brothers.
Who saw this coming? Seriously.
I did, but I didn't see it as number 5.
Okay,
People are. Oh my god! Okay, just to get a little salty immediately, I've heard that justification like 3 or 4 times already. Is well, I mean, who really saw this coming? Everyone fucking saw this coming. No Fire Emblem fan is gonna fool this fucking crowd here. Everyone saw this coming.
Oh yeah. But why now? Why now? That's the big question. Everyone's biggest gripe with the whole reveal.
I mean, I'm the least salty about it, so can I explain it? So, do you want me to explain things?
You go ahead, go first, because I'm still pretty salty about it.
Yeah, don't worry. I understand the salt. I like going on a single tangent here, real quick. We like there was a war in TSR.
There's a war in TSR, and there was a war in our friend of the cast, Aeon Anima's server. There's people are divided, and I'm kind of annoyed that it's divided because, like, I'll get into my reasons why later after Yule's done.
Go ahead, Yule.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying, Byleth's reveal kind of came at a very inopportune time because the DMC Twitter was actually teasing the reveal of another character. And you can imagine that pretty much everybody, we even talked about this in last week's podcast, that pretty much everybody was thinking that the next character to be revealed was Dante. And to make matters worse, the thing that the Devil May Cry Twitter announced instead was the freestyle switching.
Yeah,
That
which
which
we said
we already knew.
Well, it's stuff that because like the problem with it is they were doing that and hitting. They said watch January 16th, and then January 16th was the announced date of Character 5. So and Sakurai had the 3, and it's like, yeah, they just announced.
He was counting in binary and gave us the middle finger
still,
through it.
Still 3.
Best image. That'll be burn in my mind.
What a troll. No, but it was announced, and then it was revealed by articles that the style switching was going to be in DMC3 because it was on the website, but technically we officially didn't know, and that's going to be a theme of this rant. Technically.
I pretty much summarized the character. I pretty much summarized Byleth pretty well during the little war that we had at TSR. Yeah, Byleth is a technicality. Nothing better than that. Technically, he's a newcomer. Technically, he's never been in a Smash game before. Technically, whatever excuse you want to make,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's awful. It's awful. Doesn't matter how much you want to how much you want to justify Violet being in. I don't mind that. I don't care about that because I already am happy with the character I have, like which is Shulk. But at the same time, I also can see how many people can get offended by that because um, if you're gonna get a character in by technicality, then why bother? You know.
Well, yeah.
Meanwhile, the DFGFC community is like, yeah, bitch, please, you don't get you're complaining about one Fire Emblem character. We get like 20,000 Gokus a day. Come on.
Well,
But Yule, it's not just non-Fire Emblem fans that are salty. There's some Fire Emblem fans that I spoke to that were pretty salty about this reveal.
There's a
and
Fire
who they
Emblem
chose.
fan I know that really thinks that Byleth wasn't supposed to be number 5, and I completely agree.
Oh boy, we're gonna get our tinfoil hats on right now.
I'm gonna start disagreeing with that because I've been hearing that theory too, and I do not think this was a delay. I do not think that this was. I think that is. Admittedly, I am one of the people who was like super salty this happened, but I'm also not gonna act like this was a delay just to make an excuse for the fact that this was number 5 and defend Nintendo for it. Because it's like, Sakurai said in the video this was recorded 2 months ago, and it fits the timeline of how every character seems to be developed and released. Because it's not like we're getting Byleth in February. We're getting Byleth on the 28th, which is not too far out from here. So it's clear that they are done, pretty much. They just need a little bit of balancing. Not balancing. We'll get into that in a minute. But they just need a little bit of more polish, and they need a little bit more, integration. So, yeah, I disagree that I think... I just want to throw it out there right now as an initial opinion. I disagree that I think it's a rush job and that they switched 5 and 6. There's a big theory going around that I don't think is true.
Yeah, I also think that this is. I also think that the theory that this is just a delay is dumb. Like
it's also dumb because like Sakurai even said about because spoiler alert for another news part of this news, we're getting another Fighters Pass and it's going to be 6 characters, and Sakurai said every single one of them is already determined.
Yeah.
Why would this one be delayed? Why would there be a delay on this one? In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, I also am going to take this time to say that do not set your expectations too high because this is what happens when you do.
But that's not the fans' fault. That's Nintendo's fault for.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it is for raising the bar that high. Yeah, of course.
Well, no. The point I'm trying to make is that Reggie heavily implied at the Game Awards when Joker was revealed is that everyone would be new to the Smash Bros. Series. I mean, like, yes, the exact quote isn't exact that he said every single one would be new and et cetera, but like the way they were talking about the DLC, it was like, oh wow, this is going to be all new third-party characters, and it was getting validated by the fact that all of them were. Like, we got Joker, we got Hero, Dragon Quest was never represented, Persona was never represented, and then we got Banjo finally got in, and then we got Terry and Fatal. It's like, that's why I'm so salty. Is like, I think Byleth with this new pass was a lock. Why did you do it now? And if you want to say that it was rushed, I mean, maybe, but like, I think Sakurai and Nintendo genuinely were like, no, this is number 5. And and you can tell because Sakurai was desperate to explain why it counted as a new fucking, like, he went into a Fire Emblem history lesson and acted like Three Houses is a new fucking IP to the Smash Bros. Universe.
Oh boy, yeah. That was hard to listen
Sakurai,
to.
please tell me about this series that I know absolutely nothing about in this game called Super Smash Bros. Marth, Roy, Chrom, Lucina, Ike, Robin, Corrin.
Jeez,
yes. What's a Fire Emblem?
Okay, so here comes the part where I actually say that here comes the part where my reasoning about this character being a technicality starts to bleed into the conversation.
I think it's definitely where we all agree. Like I've been arguing the idea that it's like, because Fire Emblem fans are just Byleth the diehards in general apparently are like we're strong to instantly jump in and be like, well, technically. It's like here's my opinion on technicalities in general. If you have to use a technicality to win an argument, you are not making a sound argument to win. You know, it's like it's not a sound argument. You're
It's an
agreeing that
excuse.
there's some gray area.
Allow me to explain the basis of the technicality. So, in case some people didn't know, because Sakurai didn't bother to tell anybody, um, Fire Emblem is not a primary property of Nintendo. It's actually made by a third-party developer, well, quote unquote third party, um, called Intelligent Systems. Intelligent Systems has been making the Fire Emblem games for quite some time. In fact,
Right.
they are responsible for a recent iteration, which is Fire Emblem Three Houses. So that's the technicality behind the reason why it's considered a newcomer, for one, and for why he has never, why Byleth was never part of the Smash roster before. It's because technically, you'll see that word repeated a lot, but technically, Byleth and Three Houses never had any representation in Smash Brothers. Yeah,
That's the
I'm already
worst part of
cringing
this.
over here,
That's
Yul.
the
More
worst
than
part of this
technicality.
trailer is that they just said it was fucking to justify it. They said it's Smash Brothers X Fire Emblem Three Houses, and it's like get the fuck off, get the fuck out of here. Like it's fucking fire. That's the okay.
They're trying
I
to
mean, we
segregate
don't.
Three Houses from the rest of
We
the franchise. How?
yeah, we don't.
well,
we don't.
that's
Never. Okay, can one of us talk?
okay. You go ahead.
All right. Fuck. Yeah. Well, it's like I'm not trying to like reference too many content creators again, but I did watch some Call Me Johnny's reaction stream, and I agreed with one comment here that I think it fit really well. Is like, even if we can be okay with Byleth, we can get over it. I think the one thing that they genuinely kind of pissed people off with was they pointed out it was Smash Bros. X Fire Emblem Three Houses and acted like and justified the fans and acting like, oh, Fire Emblem never gets representation, all that stuff. And it's like, dude, it's at least a solid quarter of the roster, at this point.
They double down.
They double down. Yeah.
And going back to the point that Susie was trying to make, that they're trying to separate, not really. Like, the Fire Emblem series has always kind of been independent of each other. Like, for example, Awakening has nothing to do with Radiant Dawn. Radiant Dawn doesn't have anything to do with Mister of the Emblem.
Yul, I can say the exact same thing about Final Fantasy. They're all self-contained stories.
Or
and they have nothing to do
Persona.
with one another.
That's
Yes.
true.
So
But-
I don't want to hear
and-
that excuse. It's
well,
just
that's
like,
kind-
how is it
Well,
entertaining?
it's to your point, it's like that's true with Final Fantasy, and they do classify Final Fantasy as specifically 7 in Smash. But the problem is also that Cloud is the only fucking representation of that series in Smash. They
Same
haven't
deal
put
with-
another Final Fantasy character in there, and they probably won't. So it's like, but Fire Emblem is in the game. Like, there's like the meme of too many sword fighters is because of fucking Fire Emblem. I just don't get how they're acting like this is new. Like, this is a worthy inclusion that we were not going to anticipate. Yeah, we fucking anticipated it. Everyone said that there was going to be a Fire Emblem character in this, and then we got hope that there wasn't going to be one.
But
Everybody knew Fire Emblem was going to happen. We didn't want it to happen now, but we knew it would happen.
Yeah.
like Thanos, it was inevitable.
Well, I think it's like we've been saying for a while with this new Fighters Pass, and I've been arguing I've been like, yo, Byleth actually deserves to get in this time because I thought Fire Emblem Three Houses was a good success, and it's true. The problem is that Sakurai had the perfect chance to put Byleth in without pissing people off. Nintendo and Sakurai, the team that works on Smash Bros. Let's be fair, had a chance to put Byleth in without pissing people off, and they did everything wrong and just pissed people off. Or disappointed even. Like, if you're not upset about it, that's fair. Like, I think it's one of the fairest things to say that a Fire Emblem character being number 5 of the pass is one of the few justifiable, this is disappointing, and you can't just blame shitty Smash Bros. Fans for that.
And if I may add, I mean, how long has it been since Terry was announced before Byleth was announced? That's also added to the salt.
Terry
because-
was announced in, I want to say, he was announced in August, wasn't he?
or September, something like that.
He was announced. Yeah, he was announced after.
So
he
it
was
was a
announced
4
on the
to
no.
5
Yeah, it was
month
August.
wait.
Yeah, it was
For
announced in.
Byleth.
Yeah, he was announced in August because that was when Banjo dropped.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
one
it
month.
was because we were putting notice on the radio silence about Smash, and it's like that's another part where Zeus is right. That's a big part of the disappointment. We waited and got all this hype about the final character in the first Fighters Pass that seemed like it was going to be all new series being represented, and we got Byleth. Maybe that's a little bit justification for the idea that it could have been swapped, but I just don't see it because I don't think you record that video 2 months in advance for a swapped slot, you know?
Mm-hmm. And like I said before, it's really awful that everything in this character is just a technicality instead, like because like everybody in the TSR Discord pretty much agreed into one single point. Everything about Byleth is good, but the timing is not.
Byleth is, I don't even want to say good. I just want to say, like, Byleth
I'm
deserved to get in and is fine. It's just the timing
Not
makes it even
now.
more, yeah, the timing makes it even more aggressively annoying. Because,
Yeah.
like, even, I can even understand Fire Emblem fans. There's a lot of Fire Emblem fans I talked to that were, like, kind of salty about it because it's like Byleth is more than any other protag the most bland character in their own game to
Yeah.
a point of it's even brought up apparently in Three Houses that you have no character.
Yeah, and in fact, I had a lot of I had a lot of people tell me that because I never played Three Houses, like at all.
Yeah.
So imagine having people tell me, well, this character deserves to get in, this other character deserves to get in. Why like there were even points where I heard some people saying, why is Violet holding those weapons? This other character does it. So
Yeah.
why not
Yeah,
include
I mean,
that one?
we'll get into the character specifics in a little bit, but like to jump ahead a bit, yeah, like to go back to the point of this character as a technicality, like, yeah, technically this is not another sworder, just another sword fighter, technically.
Yeah, just
Because
like
it
how
has,
Corrin is technically not another sword fighter because it's technically a chainsaw and she's technically a dragon. And there is technically no
Yeah.
male Corrin because male Corrin is bad. And you should feel bad.
The Fire Emblem characters definitely seem like they go on technicalities, don't they?
well, I mean, those are just the two examples to be fair, but like, I just feel weird that like Awakening is the only one that got more support from like Nintendo to get more than just the protagonist in.
Yeah, Awakening is the only Fire Emblem that has more than one character in the roster. That's Lucina, Chrom, and
Chrom
Robin.
and Robin, and it still had Robin and Lucina before they added Chrom as an Echo. So it's like, I just don't understand why you. I think Fire Emblem would be more tolerable if more of them were like different kind of fighters, and more of them were like side characters from their own games. Like, I guess I can understand. Like, you want the big ones in there, like Marth, Roy, and Ike. I get that, but like, why don't we have someone like a Hector? Why don't we have these other the Dark Knight could have been a character? You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just I feel like we could have had more characters that were just not carbon copies of a majority of the roster of Fire Emblem. You know,
But I have to wonder, with all this inclusion and focus on the Fire Emblem characters, why this series? Like, why is the series getting so much love compared to the rest of Nintendo's franchises? It
it's
really doesn't
marketing.
need.
I mean, in my opinion, I think it's just marketing, and Three Houses did really well. The reality is there's a reason like why kind of Fire Emblem and Pokemon are kind of the COD releases of Smash characters, and that we always get one, and there's always one every fucking game.
They make the
Is
money.
that they make, yeah, and they want to push these. Nintendo wants to push these franchises more than any of their other ones because Mario is always going to be iconic to them. Zelda's always going to be iconic. Ridley got in because he's the only other character in fucking Metroid that really means fucking anything.
Besides Dark Samus.
Yeah, well, yeah, and
Well,
Dark
And even
Samus
then,
got
that's
even
an
kinda
Echo
weird.
fighter.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, and then like Donkey Kong pretty much has everyone that anyone could realistically want in King K. Rool, Diddy, and Donkey Kong.
But we need the cool Funky Kong mode.
That would be kind of. I mean, it would be kind of cool. Like, I would love more representation for these other series as
Yeah, at
opposed
the
to just
very least,
ton
extra
of Mario,
costumes.
ton of yeah. And Zelda has pretty much everyone. There's no one in Zelda you could really add at this point.
Agreed.
So it's like, I get it. Fire Emblem is one of the few games that keeps coming out that keeps adding more characters to add to this series, but like, it's starting to oversaturate the roster with them. Even though it's like, we pointed out that it's not a huge part of the roster, don't get me wrong. It is noticeably small, and it just feels so big because Nintendo keeps pushing these fucking characters.
Okay, let's even if we
No,
did,
fuck this, man. This is a deserved rant. I'm sick of people fucking, like, I'm going a little ham because it's like, I'm sick of people going, well, technically, and being super, like, giddy over Byleth, and it's like, you were gonna get Byleth. You know, we might not be guaranteed Dante. So fuck that, you know? Like, you're gonna get Byleth in this next pass, whether you got him now or not. So it's like, don't go all technically this, or, oh, I'm so happy. Like, I'm glad that you got who you want, but you were going to get them anyway. We're going to get another Pokemon probably too, and that's also going to make people salty.
Oh boy, Gen 8.
I
Gen 8
hope
needs
not.
that hype.
No, the Pokemon's going to be extra salt because people don't like Sword and Shield on a mass scale.
Oh boy, I hope not, but they might shoehorn one in.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that the real reason is because Fire Emblem has done really well ever since Melee, especially because Melee is the reason why Fire Emblem even made it overseas. Because people were really curious about these two anime bullies called Martin Roy.
Who's this Mars fellow?
I kind of agree, but I also kind of disagree in that I don't think it started getting popular in the West as popular as it's going to be until like Awakening, and even then, I think of all the new Fire Emblem games, Three Houses is the most successful one, like by far.
I can agree to that. From what,
Which is why I still feel like Byleth is justified because it is really successful. But like, we announced a new pass, you had the chance to just like make her number 1 of 6. I feel like if we can all agree right now, okay, I guess we should end the rant a little bit, but I feel like we can all agree right now. If Byleth was number 1 of Challenger Back 2, would anyone actually be upset about that?
No, definitely
Okay.
not. It'd just be the obvious choice, and be like, all right, get that out of the way. Give me the next 5.
I think
Let's
it would
go.
make people happy because we got it over and done with to start with. But because this is the end of the first one, which feels all new representation, new characters that everyone are really hyped about, and
Except for
you could
Byleth.
have, except for Byleth now, but you could add that perfect package. It doesn't have to be Dante, because like, yeah, we were getting into the Dante stuff, and it's like, it didn't have to be Dante. It could have been Crash. It could have been Doom Guy. It could have been anyone new, and I think people would have been satisfied.
Anybody.
But when we saw that fucking Fire Emblem trailer, we all literally groaned when we saw Byleth's face. None of us played Fire Emblem Three Houses, but we knew the minute we saw that animation in his face, we were like, fuck.
Well, actually, I've seen that particular cutscene in Fire Emblem Three Houses,
You
which is
said-
actually
yeah, you and
very
me.
story heavy, and it's like we're gonna low-key spoil this scene just for Smash.
Yeah, that's too. And yeah, you're right, because I'm going back, and you were the first one that went, oh no.
Yeah. And as soon as I saw that, it's like, oh, we're getting Byleth. Oh no.
I mean,
I was so holding out hope that it was going to be a fake. Go ahead, Yule. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I mean, Nintendo also spoiled one of the scenes in Fire Emblem Fates. I don't think that anybody cares, but it's also a pretty important scene as well, because you get
the Corrin reveal?
Yeah.
At the very least, the scene from in the Three Houses Byleth reveal was only part of the first third of Three Houses, so.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's my another thing with Byleth that I just don't like. I don't fucking like the Morgana. Good spoiler alert. The girl, what's her name? Sosi?
Oh, the goddess?
Yeah, the goddess that looks like Tiki but not Tiki.
The wannabe...
Sophis.
Sophis. Okay,
AKA
not Morgana.
Not Morgana.
Not Morgana, because it's voiced by Morgana, and I'm like,
Yeah.
motherfucking goddamn it, we got Morgana in the game twice. And they're both annoying.
Morgana, go back to Joker.
Yeah, and it's like, she's annoying. She's one of the reasons I'm genuinely not deeply interested in the story of Three Houses, because I just don't like her. She's annoying. And the Morgana
Don't
voice
worry, that
doesn't
gets
help
solved by the
either.
first third.
Okay, what do they? Okay, let's not get into spoilers then. But yeah, and it's not just the Morgana voice. I just feel like she's an annoying presence in general. The Morgana voice just doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like it's the most like it's not the worst Final Smash in the game because obviously that goes to like Rosalina or like a bunch like there's a couple like terrible ones. It's the most boring fucking cinematic one in the game in my genuine opinion.
Here's a picture of Sothis. We're gonna blow up your opponents now. Goodbye.
Feels lazy. Agreed.
I
Maybe-
mean, yeah, like I wanted to do like to move away from this point is that I want to start debunking the last excuse that people have out of the way already because we might as well address it right now. So people are saying that if you think that Fire Emblem is overrepresented, look at the Mario reps, look at the Pokemon reps, look at the Zelda reps. So how about we debunk that now? Because that's dumb.
Let's look at Mario for a second here. Oh, wait a minute, that's Nintendo's flagship franchise, Zelda. The only real offensive part of that is 3 Links, and even then, they play completely differently to each other, and now that Wild Link is actually Breath of the Wild Link instead of typical Green Link, he has such a different aesthetic to everybody else that even he looks different and plays differently too.
Yeah, the easy point to debunk that claim is that Mario is the most iconic fucking series in Nintendo history. There's a justification to have too many Mario characters. It's the one that kept Nintendo afloat for so many years.
Okay. Yeah, I heard the explanation for Zelda. I heard the explanation for Mario. I know
Zelda doesn't even have too many fucking characters, and it's Smash Ultimate. That's the only reason why there is 3 Links.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just going through the motions here because it's if we don't debunk it right now, we're going to have that excuse plastered all over the comment section. So
Yeah.
might as well. So how about what was the name? Pokemon.
Pokemon, I can understand people arguing is overrepresented. Like, yeah, I think most people that complain about Fire Emblem are also complaining about Pokemon, so that's not a viable defense of Fire Emblem because people are also kind of sick of Pokemon getting in the game. Incineroar is an exception because he's one of the few ones that's unique and cool, and not just another Lucario.
Yeah, I can agree there.
Yeah,
And not even with Pokemon, not even all the generations represented. So they could have gone a lot worse if they really wanted to.
yeah. And I'm happy that Pokemon Trainer's back the way it was, but like I could also do without some of the Pokemon, you know?
Like what? Like what Pokemon you wish was not in the game? Like
I mean, if we took away the idea of the ultimate tag, everyone is here. Yeah, I'd say maybe Mewtwo and then maybe a Pichu. I think we could remove Pokemon Trainer to be honest, because while I like his styles, I was fine with Charizard as a heavy. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I would get rid of Mewtwo, Pichu, Pokemon Trainer. You could keep adding Incineroar in, and we could argue for maybe Lucario or Greninja to get taken out. Maybe Lucario, because at this point, Gen 4 is just so behind us. So, if you were to take the ultimate tag, yeah, and if we were to take the ultimate tag, then I would obviously remove like fucking Lucina and maybe not
easily.
Lucina. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I would remove Lucina. I wouldn't bring Roy back. Or maybe even remove Ike, because I think a lot of people don't play
differently with that, considering that Lucina and Chrom are Echo Fighters in Ultimate instead of actual fighters.
You remove one, remove the other.
Lucina's not considered an Echo Fighter, though. She's still considered a main fighter.
No, she's an Echo Fighter.
Echo Fighter of Marth.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that they moved her to Echo Fighter.
She's always been an Echo Fighter.
4 didn't have the classification of Echo Fighters, Yule.
Lucina was the poster child for Echo Fighters, man.
True. Yeah. Her and Dark Pit, yeah. Which, speaking of, if I could also again remove the Everyone Is Here tag, I would remove Dark Pit as well.
Yeah, that's kind of redundant. I would agree as much as I enjoy playing Dark Pit sometimes.
Mm.
You just like being edgy. Anyway.
No, that's what I use Cloud for, because that's what Nomura made him.
Oh, true. But yeah, so I just think that these arguments that Pokemon gets too much representation is dumb because we already are sick of Pokemon. Mario, it's the face of Nintendo. Zelda, I mean, the Three Links is a little egregious, but like, come on, Zelda has like, other
Aside
than
from
Link,
that, there
Ganon,
is
and
literally
Zelda, has
nothing.
no one. Yeah, and yeah, so it's like, I just think other than that, if those are the three that stand out, is other than Fire Emblem, and then like Fire Emblem is arguably up there with Pokemon for how many reps they do have, and then Mario has a lot of reps too. But I feel like they're all a similar number of reps, so it's hard for me to see this argument when it's like, how many Mario reps are there? Mario, Luigi, Wario, Peach, Daisy, Bowser, Rosalina, Piranha Plant. Anyone
Bowser
else?
Jr.
Bowser Jr. That's 9. Okay, and then Fire
yeah,
Emblem has like 10 right now, right? Like had 10, 11 with
8.
Byleth?
8. Yeah.
8? Okay. See yeah, I mean it's true, but every time they add a Mario character, they don't. Okay. Here's my other argument for why that is a stupid point: is that every new Fire Emblem character has been DLC. Mario keeps adding them at the start of the game and their side like thing. I mean, technically Piranha Plant was DLC, but it's clear that they were intended to be a main inclusion.
Piranha Plant is the exception to the rule because he was planned to be in the game anyway.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and technically you got them for free because you pre-ordered the game. You got Piranha Plant, or you even bought the game within the first month. You got Piranha Plant for free. So, yeah. But other than that, yeah, they don't add a Mario character as DLC.
No, it's just something to expect when they, like I said, the initial roster.
Right.
But then we
got
go into
Mario.
arguments about who's most deserving, who's least deserving, what franchises do need to be more represented. And I mean, as you'll point out, I mean, Mario's the flagship. Fire Emblem is not even first party by their own logic. So why are we? Why are we pushing this? Oh, because they make money. Because they're really popular in Japan. Because people love associating themselves with these waifus and husbandos everywhere, and nothing much else. And
well, yeah, I can I get your point, or it's like that's a whole rabbit hole we can go down of who's most represented. But I think it's like that's not the argument we're making here. I think the argument we're making is we wanted literally anyone other than a Fire Emblem character. Or any character. Like if we would have got a Pokemon character, I would obviously be as salty if we got a Mario character. Waluigi be damned. Gino be damned.
Nah, I'd be furious if Waluigi got in.
Yeah.
Personally.
Furious. Yeah, because I mean,
Gino is more the exception, considering that's more Square's property than Nintendo's.
Well, I think Gino's also an exception because I genuinely think that's like up on the level of what other than the memes, why would Gino, is even Ridley and K. Rool had a legitimate claim? Why would Gino get in at this point? It's a 20-year-old series of a 20-year-old game that is not as relevant as it's ever been,
It's because his spirit got referenced in the game along with the living Cloud Boy.
Anyway, yeah, Anyway, I just think of all the characters to pick, I just don't get why Byleth was here. But I guess let's start talking about.
Now that we're done talking about the character, let's talk about the character.
Let's talk about the character. Yeah.
So Byleth's moveset. Where do we want to start?
Yeah. Who wants to take the start on the moveset? Because I didn't get to see much of this because I had to leave.
I'm still the least salty person about this, and I think that it's not as broken as people say it is. But
you never do, though. To be fair, you never think anything in any fighting game is ever unbalanced.
Because I adapt.
That's not always an excuse, though. I'm getting come on. You can't always be like, I always adapt, and then you get salty about things.
Hey, I'm gonna hit you with thwack. Oh no, you died. Better adapt.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you died to thwack. Better adapt to that. How do you adapt to getting randomly murdered?
So yeah, you can start if you want.
Anyway,
anybody.
I don't know. I think there are cool parts about the character though. Let's get some of the positives out there. It's like I think the idea that it's a sword whip and it also isn't just a sword fighter is pretty cool, even if it's kind of a technicality.
Yeah, aren't also the tilts representative of a different weapon too?
Yeah.
Because now with I believe with tilts you can use all 4 weapons and they have different ranges, different power, different launchers. Sort of
Not
like
till not tilts. Smash attacks.
smash attacks.
I thought it was tilt though, because he said up
It's
and
tilts.
the Titan stage
Yeah,
just
there are some for basically tilts and aerials,
Yeah.
and also
Yeah, 'cause,
smash
like,
attacks and specials.
yeah, because the little shield poke, the little spear poke thing was not a side B. I don't think
That was a side tilt.
it was a side tilt.
Not
So it's like
side-
it is changing with the tilts.
That up B looks pretty dangerous though. Like the combo game, if you get someone in the
Oh.
air and then boom.
Yeah,
This
that
is
up B
nasty.
is obnoxious because the fact that you can even spike with it at a certain point is like
Oh yeah.
it encourages. I mean, it's kind of a cool encourage in a sense because the point is we already go off stage so much with these characters. I think it's kind of neat that you can play really really risky with that kind of moveset and get kind of rewarded in that sense. But at the same time, man, the fact that it can just automatically spike means that you are in danger with Byleth off
Yeah, it
stage.
basically means you can't recover high, or if Byleth is going low, you have to recover extremely high. And you can't
You gotta
really
tech
risk spiking them ever.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think and good Smash players do deserve that credit. But I think even moderate Smash players can figure out a way to make that pretty punishing and pretty tight feeling. And it's like there can be an argument to be made that it's like, should it be that tight feeling to fight Byleth? I don't know. Who knows? But I think that's a crazy move, and I can't believe that that's kind of the effect that they're going with.
Yeah, not even Simon Belmont had something that crazy. Or Samus with the whip.
Yeah,
Something similar.
well, anyone with like Joker is like, you know, to kind of, I guess I'll say this by the time we get more of those moves. Yeah, that's cool. The up B is crazy. What was the side B again? Anyone know?
I don't exactly remember, but I know that Byleth had the bow, the spear, and the giant axe that's essentially Hatchet Man with super armor.
Oh, to be fair though, that was my one criticism of Hatchet Man, and they kind of fucking fixed it in the wrong sense. That they gave it to another character, and it's like, oh fuck, I didn't know I shouldn't have made this criticism because it's really biting me in the ass.
No, wait until I do that to you 50 times in a row.
Oh man, then I can't complain about Hero anymore. To be fair, because then I'll just be salty about Byleth.
More than you already were.
Isn't his neutral B the bow?
Yeah,
That
the
one
neutral
had it?
B is the bow, which you can't
Neutral B
charge
is
to make.
Link and Pit.
No, it's a more powerful but also slower version of Link's that you can't let go of the charge of unless you shield. It's like you can't do the little kind of bow shots with Byleth that you can with Link.
Oh, you can't like do little rapid shots, little
Nope, you
pot
can't
shots
do
with them.
click, 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 click. No, you have to hold it down for the entire duration or twice as long if you want the extra powerful arrow.
It could be
Which
good
I
for
guess-
sniping.
Yeah, which I guess is because I mean with Pit, to be fair with like it's not the first like Pit doesn't let you like pot shot either. You kind of have to just go all in with the shot.
But at the same time, you can also hold it for a little while longer after it's ready. With Byleth, you have to wait the entire duration. You can't do any in-betweens ever.
Yeah, so that's gonna make it a really like you have to be off stage before you even think about doing that projectile.
Yeah. From what we're seeing, Byleth is a high damage, but also, like, Byleth is basically the heavy of Fire Emblem, when you're not counting Ike.
Kind of, yeah, because I don't think there are many moves from Byleth that are very like fat. Yeah, I mean, Ike is the heavy hitter, but I feel like Byleth is the slower character overall.
He seems to have
there's-
more utility overall.
Yeah, utility. That's a good word. Utility and range are like a very range utility Fire Emblem character.
Yeah, because Ike you have to be up close and you have to know how to use eruption effectively and your ether. But with
Yeah.
Byleth, I mean, you can get some good mix-ups in. You can attack if someone's trying to jump in at you. You don't have to jump in and get yourself in danger because that lance of his, man, it's got range. And if they
It's got
jump
range.
stupidly,
And let's not even
You're gonna
get
get
started on the up air, which is better Palutena up air. We didn't need that.
I thought that was Nair, but okay.
No, Nair is basically Pit and Belmont Nair.
A flurry,
Which is
basically.
also like they made a sticking point of and it also uses the bow for the nair. I'm like, you could have just used the whip sword and it wouldn't be any different.
Yeah. Or you could have just
They
used
just really
both
wanted
and
to.
be
They really
even
wanted to
more
justify putting the
technically
damn
unique.
bow in the game. Yeah, they really wanted to justify putting the bow in the game for some reason by using nair. And it's like, okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to start going into the controversial side about why I don't think it's broken and stuff like that. So
I don't think.
Okay.
Well, okay. Let me clarify. I don't think it's broken. It's just like there are a lot of like, what the actual fuck. Like the Hatchet Man thing is what the actual fuck. Even though I said that was my criticism of Hatchet Man, I feel like it's more justified in Hatchet Man because it's a random chance. This is a move you can just do in the game, in any time you want. Anyway, continue.
So let's start by that. You can grab your opponent out of the hatchet man like a state, and not only that, but the charge time makes it really easy to avoid. I'm not saying that it's going to be 100% useless. It can have its uses. In fact, I feel like that's
It
going to
breaks
be used a
shields.
lot. Yeah, that's why I feel like
It's
it's going to be used a.
essentially it's essentially
Can,
Hatchet
can
Man
you
with
let me
super armor.
speak? Can you let me speak? Thank you. I believe that this is going to be used a lot as a disrespecting tool rather than an actual tool. Like if you have a really hard read on your opponent, especially because of the fact that you can turn it around, um, you'll be pretty much you'll be seeing a lot of Byleths using it to do a hard read or to break the shield of another person for purely disrespectful reasons.
I
Which
genuinely disagree with that on a simple, quick point that you can drop through platforms with it. You can it's because I don't think the Falcon Punch is just a pure disrespect move. You can jump with Falcon Punch and place it really well, and like it's an effective tool. I think that's kind of more the vein of what we're getting with the Byleth down B. It's kind of like, which is ironic because they use Falcon Punch to demonstrate it, and yeah, I think it's a Falcon Punch like move.
It's got a lot of wind up, and you can be grabbed out of it.
Mhm.
So it's high risk,
As
high
for
reward.
Along with the counter, like if you're playing a character that has a counter against Byleth, if you counter that, it's essentially an instant kill at 0.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is fair. That's why I've changed my stance really heavily that it isn't broken. I definitely agree that it's not broken.
It's broken
But
both for you and against you.
the
As for
point,
the range, I before we actually get to more discussion about how broken Byleth is, um, but about the range, I also there's something that a lot of people tend to ignore. Yeah, it's amazing, but it doesn't really cover vertical approaches, which is
It
one of the
does.
highest points of contention. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it
Like
does.
like like it covers the beginning portions of those vertical approaches, but not a straight up vertical approach, which is basically what any rushdown character, especially Shulk,
They
specializes in.
did show in the thing that they had a
Yeah,
Donkey Kong
there's
and Bowser in front and Donkey Kong above, and it killed both of them.
yeah,
It
I know
covers
that
vertical.
that's the side V,
the hit.
but
No,
again, the side V takes a
No, that's the
what do you mean
Hatchet Man
fuck?
move.
You're talking about the Hatchet Man. No, it did kill both of them. It got him in the air, and then it got Diddy on the side. I think the vertical approach. Well, because like you can't even say it doesn't cover vertical approaches because the super armor will not let you get hit out of it.
I'm talking about the range in general, guys, not the range of the Hatchet Man move. Like I said before, that's
The
going to be
range of
mostly.
what then? The character in general?
Yeah, like the land stuff, the smash attacks, those attacks that focus purely on horizontal range.
What about the
And
upbeat?
yeah, his upbeat discover a vertical approach, but at the same time, who's going to use it in neutral, outside of people who actually have a read on you. Like for
Yeah, but I mean,
example,
that doesn't that
You're
discredit the
also
point that
forgetting
you?
the Nair and the up air, which are extremely good for
that is
vertical.
true.
That is fair.
To
That is fair.
To be fair to both sides, like the reality is we don't have the character yet, so we don't know these for sure. Like we don't know exactly how this character feels or works or what is approachable and what isn't. Like, but from what we've seen, this character is very Zeus made up the best point out of all of us. It's like we can all have our individual. Maybe it's broken, maybe it's not, but like Zeus was definitely right that it's a very utility character.
Yeah, it could just be a jack of all trades, but yet master of none. So
Exactly.
the fact that he or she can use all these different attacks does make it hard to approach. But that's where reading patterns and learning what their preferred attacks are as you fight them come into play, because you can bait them out and then you can punish them because their startups and the recovery for Byleth is actually pretty bad from what I'm looking at. Not to mention the recovery is kind of limited. It's only really good for not horizontal recovery unless they jump and they try and spike you, but vertical recovery seems to be okay. So we'll see.
Right.
We have to wait, 11 more days? It's not that long at all.
Yeah, 11 more.
I mean, to Yule's point though, like I think the Hatchet Man is it's just a weird move. I think it's very Falcon Punchy, but here's the one problem with the Hatchet Man that I kind of have is that if you don't hit with it, it kind of like I don't know if it's a problem, but it's weird. Hatchet Man will hit on the ground, and even if you don't get a direct hit, you'll get a little bit of like what's the word? Shockwave damage, kind of. From
Yeah,
Splash
kind of
damage.
like Bowser's
splash damage.
down
Yeah,
air.
that's a good word.
Yeah, splash
Yeah.
damage is good.
And it's weird because it's like,
Hatchet
wonder
Man
how
doesn't
much
do that,
that
but
can
other
disrupt.
Hatchet Man does.
yeah, and it's like I wonder how much that makes it because we were like saying Yule was trying to make a point that it's easy to read, kind of, and should only be used for disrespect. I wonder how much the splash damage actually changes the idea that it's an easy to because like DDD has that with his down B or his up. I think not down B. That was Bowser. My bad. His up. The second half of his up B. Bowser has that splash damage, and he has like a dash attack that's very laggy with the hitboxes. So I wonder just how much hit lag that splash damage is going to have, because that's going to make the difference in whether this is truly kind of a hard to approach move in general, or if it's a Falcon Punch you have to hard read, or kind of just place it really, really well, but it's not easy to just dunk on people with.
Well, you can't just stand there and just wait until he lands. You have to spot dodge, or you have to do something. You have to have the right timing to punish it. So
Yeah,
either,
but then
either punish it beforehand, or you have to like perfect shield it or do something to negate the splash damage up close, or you're gonna get pushed away.
Yeah, and it's just, I think the splash damage is going to really determine where it stands on that spectrum of like moves that are hard to punish or moves that are easy to read, and you should really, like Yule said, maybe only disrespect with them at a certain point.
Yeah, because I do see the application of people just using it for a disrespect or a downright very very hard read where we've seen a lot of those in the Smash community, especially because hard reads are pretty much Smash's.
Well, I mean, it's
best
in any
thing about the competitive Smash.
That's the one thing in any fighting game that's really applicable is like reading your opponent's moves and beating them with a punch, so to say. So I get that. I think Smash Smash I've argued before in any other series is really kind of reliant on reads, and even then, Smash is just this weird beast where it's like sometimes you read someone and they just mash out of it, and you can't really do much about that with certain characters.
I mean, Sakurai already went on a tangent again to say that Smash is not a fighting game, so...
Oh,
He didn't technically. What he
He
said
was-
was,
he-
does it
he
count?
really
I'll
shouldn't
let
have.
you guys decide.
I guess, but he really did. It's the same. We had a big discussion about this a long time ago. I don't know if it was on the podcast or if it was just in our. I think it was in our lounge. It's like he did it again. I said it there that in that debate that was not on here. I'm remembering it now. I was like, Sakurai is the only one that's going to ever end the debate of is it a fighting game or is it not, and he just fucking doubled down on the bait. Really. He doubled down on the I'm not going to decide this, it's up to you. And no, Sakurai, the Smash community is not going to fucking decide. Melee is hated for that reason.
Yeah, and his stance is pretty clear, much to the dismay of Smash fans. It's
I don't think
it's a party / celebration of video gaming. It's not really a super
I
serious
don't
fighting game
I don't
in his eyes.
I don't I think we're putting words in his mouth there because I don't think he leans really. I don't think he leans into one. I think he just kind of because I mean he was going. Look, you take the Terry Bogard display, right? And it's like there's no way he doesn't have love for fighting games, and there's no way there isn't fighting game influence in how he develops Smash.
I
But
mean,
on the other
again,
hand,
look at
yeah,
Terry Bogard.
exactly. So it's like, but then again, yeah, there's he says stuff like that, and then there's the obvious argument that Smash mechanics are so wildly different from fighting games that it's hard to really place it among other fighting games. I don't know. I just with Byleth, I don't think it's going to be a broken character. I will say that I think it's one of the better looking. Like it's kind of like Byleth is a couple of things where it's like he has a lot of things from a lot of the DLC fighters that are kind of strong about some of them. Like he has Hatchet Man, he has Joker's up B, he has um, kind of a poke that is good like Banjo's poke with Kazooie with the side tilt. And it's kind of interesting in that regard, where it's like you can definitely tell Sakurai tried to make him an amalgamation of the DLC characters, but I feel like it's also like a really good combination of a lot of the Fire Emblem characters and what some of them do well without just being Crom and doing too much of like the fucking typical Fire Emblem stuff that's cookie cutter at this point. And he doesn't have a counter, so thank God, not another Fire Emblem with a counter. Another character with a counter, even if you want to consider the super armor down be kind of ridiculous, it's not a counter.
It's a counter read.
I don't know. There's not much to hate about Byleth, but I think it's like we can justify it in that it's the timing, and that's really it. That's what makes Byleth such a disappointing character.
Yeah, I believe that we should move on at this point.
Well,
I don't have much to say.
I guess then to move on then, what do you guys think is number 6? Or number 1 of the new Challenger Pack we have to say now.
It better be Dante.
I will hold my thoughts.
Well, when was the next reveal date for Dante, or at least news on DMC?
The next news for DMC3 was January 30th, but I doubt we're getting any news related to Smash at that point, but the next one after that was February 13th.
Why can't that be the date? Because Byleth would have been out, and
Yeah,
with this time gap, that seems like the
maybe.
perfect date to drop
I
Dante.
just I'm just not holding out hope because it was so
You got so robbed.
I got
Well,
burned.
once.
Yeah, I got robbed and burned because it was like the signs were just too there, and it's like they did reveal the style change, but it's like Yule said,
That was something we
already knew it. Yeah, even if they technically didn't officially announce it, so it's like it's hard to feel that happy about it, even though it is cool and it still makes me want to buy DMC3 on Switch. I just don't know. I just feel like I'm in a weird place with Smash because that's why I really wanted this to be the third party newcomers because I could accept more leniency with the next pack 100%. But now since we got fucking Byleth here, I'm not that excited about the new one. I don't know because I know there's going to be a lot like we're going to get a Pokemon, right? Like we're going to get a Pokemon.
I'm holding out hope that we don't.
Again, I'm holding my opinions for now.
I am almost certain that we're getting Dante, if not now, at some point down the road with Smash, because Capcom themselves have come out and said that when DMC4 gets onto Nintendo Switch, Dante is free picking for Smash Brothers.
Yeah, once all the the quote specifically is once all the DMC games get ported to Switch, then they are free to have Dante if they want him. So I don't know, and it's like I just don't know. I don't know. They're all decided, so I don't think we can push for any character right now. Sakurai already knows who he wants to put in.
I mean, the only character I can push for is the Gatekeeper.
Oh boy.
The 3DS Polygon Gatekeeper.
Yes.
Wow.
That is the real character I want to push for. Even Sakurai was like, don't forget the Gatekeeper.
Yeah. Well, I'm even a little disappointed. Oh, speaking of more of the other Smash stuff, I'm a little disappointed that Cuphead is just a Mii fighter. I really thought that could have worked as a fighter. I don't care that it's indie. I think he really fit the mold of being like some type of gunner or zoner.
I think I disagree. I think Gunner is fine for him as a costume. I think there's better I think Shovel Knight or Shantae would be my top 2 for indies, but that's just me.
Me Gunner is my favorite cosplayer.
I think Shovel Knight could work. I push for Shantae sometimes, but I also think I don't think that would be a great fun character to play.
You haven't seen the movesets and all the stuff she can pull, but whatever.
Maybe. I mean, I think all three characters have a utility that would be good for Smash. But yeah.
I guess I have to educate someone next time I actually get my hands on a Switch. I will keep that in mind.
What is that supposed to mean? What was that?
I guess we're
what was
let's
that
play Shantae
passive
now.
aggressive comment?
We'll leave this shot in the dark for now. So that
I'm
written,
not ready to move on from Yule Smash because Yule's getting really petty about it at this point.
and it's a date.
I'm fine by that. Let's move on.
Ugh.
You know,
Yeah,
since we all agree that Byleth should have been delayed, let's talk about what shouldn't have been delayed.
Okay, well, for one, let's talk about what people don't care about being much delayed. Marvel's or Square Enix's Avenger game got delayed, but the problem is that just yesterday, the news I didn't share with Zeus is that Final Fantasy VII got delayed.
And Cyberpunk 2077.
Ironically, Final Fantasy VII Remake was actually delayed to compete with Cyberpunk 2077 until CD Projekt Red dropped the bomb that they were going to delay
One was
as well.
delayed to compete with the other until the other one delayed.
One was delayed to compete with the other one, but the one got announced first?
I don't follow that logic.
That doesn't make sense.
I'm pretty sure that CD Projekt Red just wanted to make sure that their experience is a little bit more, like it's fully polished before.
Yeah, I'm
before
kind of
bringing
fine.
it in.
I'm kind of fine with the Cyberpunk 2077 delay because, like with The Witcher, CD Projekt Red is one of those companies that I trust with the delay. In that, yeah, they're gonna make this amazing game, and they deserve the time that they need to put it out that way. I don't get Final Fantasy VII though.
What I do not agree with is crunch time. And yes,
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red have recently just admitted, and very adamantly at that there's going to be crunch.
Oh,
I do not respect that at all.
I feel for those
I guess
people.
I don't respect that because it's like they've been working on this game for nearly a decade now. I don't well, not a decade because Witcher 3 came out in 2015, but they've had about 5 years to work on this. Why are you so behind that you need to crunch?
Apparently it's because it's the final stages of development, which is no, you're supposed to be at the final stages of development already.
Yeah, you're supposed to be touching things up.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, I know, but I agree with James Sterling when he said that this is one of the reasons why I actually struggle to really really love CD Projekt Red, because they really love crunch culture. It's weird because they put out such amazing products and they respect the consumer and stuff like that, but at the same time, when you overwork your people to death, like BioWare or Rockstar or other places, and can I just say that the recent stuff was pretty adamant about their crunch. Like one of the developers was saying that, well, Rockstar compared themselves to us, and he said that, and they said that that their crunch is a lot more compared to ours, so that's why we should do it. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, look, because especially now, I think a lot of retail workers, and now myself before I even got the retail job was it happens. Companies do shitty things and they burn their workers, and it happens. And I get it. I get the hate for crunch. I'm not justifying crunch happening. I think the one thing that I don't respect is these crunch competitions of oh, our crunch is like fuck off, dude. Don't
Just
do
because
that.
one is worse doesn't mean the other one isn't bad.
Yeah, it doesn't mean the other one isn't at least kind of shitty.
This has to be a race to the bottom, and crunching, unfortunately, is an industry standard.
Yeah.
not only for video games, also in some aspects of the entertainment biz. I mean, look at the poor people that work behind the Sonic the Hedgehog movie and how much they had to
Right.
crunch after
Oh,
the
yeah.
disastrous reveal. And
And
then the
and
studio got closed down to boot.
yeah, that's the
They're-
biggest thank you to them.
the reward for
That's-
them was losing their jobs for
Yeah.
crunching and wasting so much time of their lives. Yeah, now you don't get to work anymore. Go fuck yourself.
Because they got too expensive, and that's the.
Well, I
unfortunate
think
thing.
that's a sad reality for a lot of 3D like animation and all that stuff now. Is like it's just not profitable the way it used to be. And I think you're seeing a lot of like the Cat Studio kind of shut down, I think, or whatever. Like well, that might be a big claim, but like I remember hearing a podcast talking about cats, and they were saying like studios that make those effects are just not surviving anymore. They just get outsourced and then they get closed down. It's kind of like when like a big game studio brings in like a small studio and then kind of just tries to fuck them off to the side.
Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, EA, and like Bethesda tried to do it with Obsidian, and Obsidian fought back.
Yeah.
So
And like I
it
said,
happens.
and like I said before, like, yeah, you know what, crunch people, like, justifying crunch people by saying that other companies do it worse. It's not exactly, good, and it doesn't really look good either, because that's basically telling me that this is a necessary evil, and not really. It's not. If you want to delay a game, delay it. Don't make it like, don't make or at
Yeah,
least don't set. Or at
that's
least
the
don't set the
biggest
bar.
sticking point. I just don't get why they're announcing the delay and then they're admitting that they're going to do crunch. Like, what? What shouldn't the delay mean that you're not going to be crunching your workers? You should be. I
Exactly.
mean, you shouldn't be crunching your workers, but you should only have crunch if you're trying to meet a deadline. You're delaying the game. It makes no
Yeah.
sense to me. Why would you do that? This is one of the few times where we've talked about crunch where I haven't been like, look, it happens, and like I just like one of the few times where I don't genuinely understand why it's happening.
Yeah, it's honestly, I believe that it's a little bit on the reasons why I don't like CD Projekt Red. Other like don't fully love them like so many people do, because unfortunately a lot of people tend to not care about the crunch culture. They don't care about the employees. They don't care about that because they want their fucking stupid game. So
Well, yeah.
it's dumb.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit on this. I'm not gonna be like a petty soapboxer about it. But at the same time, this is one of the few times where I get it, and it's like I don't know. It's just really kind of weird. And I mean, just to kind of break off this tangent, then, because it's getting a little petty at this point.
Mhm.
Why did FS? Well, I don't know, because like, why did FF7 get delayed? I feel like that's even more. CD Projekt Red, say what you will about it, but like, did Square really have a reason to fucking delay FF7?
I'm pretty sure it was because of the I'm pretty sure it was because of the fact that they wanted to compete with um.
But why would you delay a game? Like, in my opinion, if CD Projekt Red's delaying their game, I would be like, "Oh God, we're gold! Like, that's amazing. We're gonna get a day with less competition." So it's like, to me, that just feels weird. Why are they delaying it?
I know. I mean, I'm trying to come up with a way to justify this, but no, I can't think of anything. Like, Avengers has been delayed to the exact same date as to the same day. Well, roughly the same date as Cyberpunk 2077, which is in September.
Yeah, well,
And
that game's gonna die, by the way, because Jesus, the interest is already low in that game, and you're putting it up against Cyberpunk 2077. Say what you will about CD Projekt Red, everyone's hyped for that game because it's original, but that's weird. Square's making a lot of weird decisions that don't make any sense.
yeah, and like I said, they want. I'm pretty sure that because it's the only reason I can think of that Square Enix just wanted to compete against Cyberpunk 2077 with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know why, but that's the only explanation that makes sense to me. Because other than that, why?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I guess I could try and go back and pull up the article for it, but I don't know. It's going to tell me something that I really need to know, but let's do that anyway. Let's just pull it up for the sake of conversation. So, okay, the Final Fantasy VII Remake is not a drastic delay. It's only about a month, but extra
It's gotta be for
polish.
bugs.
And
Polish.
the reason, and the reason for the delay, according to Square Enix, is quote to ensure that we deliver a game that is in line with our vision and the quality that our fans have been waiting for to serve. AKA a whole lot of fucking nothing. What?
I guess. I mean, it's just weird that you officially delay it. Like, to me, like you can say what you will about Kingdom Hearts 3's release date. People are like, "Oh, it's obviously delayed." You can't delay a game that's not announced for a date. I just don't get why they're delaying Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, so I have a better statement. So, I'm going to read this letter by Yoshinori Kitase, the producer for Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, quote, we know that so many of you are looking forward to the release of the game and have been waiting patiently to experience what we have been working on. In order to ensure that we deliver a game that is in line with our okay, yeah. We're making this tough decision in order to give ourselves a few extra weeks to apply final polish to the game and to deliver you with the best experience. I, on behalf of the whole team, want to apologize to everyone, as I know this means waiting for the game just a bit longer. Thank you for your patience and continued support. So basically, bug fixes or, extra polish, which, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that the game was pretty polished as it was, but,
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of make an argument that it's like Square is not doing it intentionally because I don't think they knew that CD Projekt Red was going to delay Cyberpunk.
Wow, and the first comment I see is canceling my pre-order for a.
That's a little egregious.
Very
Well, because I was about to justify the frustration if I knew the specific date was lesser than a month. And I just saw the delay and I put it in the docket. I didn't know it was like just a month. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, it's weird. I guess they're kind of saying like we don't crunch, but it's like that's not a shot at CD Projekt because I don't think they knew that they were going to delay that game for crunch and announce that they were going to crunch. I mean.
Ouch. And I see one of the comments saying, I took 2 weeks off of work for it's in March.
Wow.
Well, it took 2 weeks off in March. That's sad.
That's sad.
This is
that's
why
one of the. Yeah.
This is why I never take time off to play video games. Like, no, not for that long. I'd rather plan trips and other stuff around that. That just,
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, that is a little. I mean, I know it's going to be a longer game, but it's like you don't need 2 weeks to beat Final Fantasy VII with all the free time.
Well, it's not that in my case. I think I think that idea is ridiculous, but not for the reasons as you do. The reason why I think it's ridiculous is because the whole concept of expecting a game to release on a certain date when we know that delaying games is pretty much the standard of this industry. You can't be certain that a game is going to release at one point or another.
I'm starting to cool off on delays a lot because it's like I think when I look back, I used to justify and say, "Oh, when a game came out back in the day, it just came out." Rah 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 rah. And I realized, wait a minute, some of those games have a lot of bugs, and they actually did release. They fixed those bugs with later releases, and it's like that's a lot messier than just delaying a game or patching it.
As for some of the competitors, I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake is already going to fight against Resident Evil 3 Remake, and even like Cyberpunk 2077
for Resident Evil 3 fans, I just don't like. It's not going to beat Resident or Final Fantasy 7.
No, it's
I'm
not.
sorry. It's Final Fantasy 7 is too iconic of a game. It's going to be the big story, which is unfortunate because I think it's RE3 remake is going to be good, but I think the sad part is we kind of got the big deal with 2. RE3 is just going to kind of come out and be good, and it's like Yeah, this goes with 2, but 2 was the big one that everyone loved when it came out. I don't think even RE3 is going to be nominated for like Game of the Year the same way 2 was.
I hope it does, but that's just me.
I hope it does too.
April,
I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah.
but yeah, in the same month, it's also going to compete against the Trials of Mana remake, a very anticipated remake by the Western audiences, which actually surprised me because I thought that not many people knew about the Trials of Mana series, but
I don't know.
I guess you can be
Personally, I
surprised.
haven't seen a ton of anticipation, but it's definitely noteworthy.
You also
Like, people are actually
Persona 5 the Royal.
Well, the unfortunate part about that, Legon, is it's just kind of an updated version of a game we've already played. So that's kind of getting, unfortunately, shut down by a ton of huge AAA or just big games in general.
I just think that I just think that this whole concept of making such throwing such a tantrum over a single month delay is
I do
It's
kind of
entitled
understand.
behavior. I don't approve it at all.
Yeah, I do see both sides. Like, I agree with Zeus that why did you plan 2 weeks off for a fucking video game? But at the same very time, it's kind of hard to get time off approved. So the fact that he did and he got kind of shafted by a delay is like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. That sucks.
that sucks. But like I said before,
oh well. Enjoy your 2 weeks regardless, because like, you might as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't expect much from. I don't expect another delay again, because if they delay to September, it's going to be pretty clear that this is deliberate. But
well, they delayed Marvel to September, and I don't think we haven't. The reason we haven't even been talking about the Avengers part that much is because I put it on the docket because it was kind of noteworthy, and then I kept it there because I saw the FF7 one. But I also was like, that Avengers game is going to get slaughtered by Cyberpunk 2077, dude. There's no chance.
It will.
Even if it looks good, it's like it's going to be so not Spider-Man PS4 that it's like, I think it being Spider-Man PS4 is the only thing that it would save it from being slaughtered, and even then it wouldn't beat Cyberpunk. It would just be more noteworthy than it is right now.
Well, we'll see.
I wish the best of luck to Crystal Dynamics.
It's We're getting thrown into a fucking Shark Tank.
I wish the best of luck to Crystal Dynamics, I swear.
They will definitely need it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sure.
But like I was saying, Avengers, it's still a very relevant and big brand, so it may not have blockbuster numbers, but it might, break even.
Maybe because I don't even see. We can hope for it, but I don't see a lot of Marvel fans giving a shit about it, to be honest. Because I feel like this game would have been perfect to release around the in between time of Infinity War and Endgame, but now it's like people are kind of like people are
kind of moved over.
They moved on. It's like people don't care as much about Marvel right now and understandably, like we're all burnt out. So I don't know, but
I mean, I'm not because I never got interested in that series, but yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking for the people that like have gotten into it. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, FF7. Well, because that was going to be my actual argument was that FF7 was going to annoy me, but now that it's a month, I'm really not that bothered by it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a very cool exclusive of PlayStation. And speaking of the PlayStation, let's talk
PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation is officially skipping E3 for a second straight year. E3 is dying, guys. Like, it's official. Honestly, it's on its deathbed right now.
I mean, yeah. Apparently other companies as well are going to, are starting to leave the E3 as well.
Yeah, gaming companies in general are just starting to, and Review Tech USA. We keep bringing up other content creators, but I feel like it's justified this time because we did the best big SGB homage in the beginning. So fine. Review Tech made a really solid point that it's like, yeah, it is a very expensive trip, and no one's going that much anymore. So literally, what is kind of the argument for doing E3? And it's sad because it's such a gaming cornerstone, but it's archaic now.
Before anybody tells me that it's a good press event, no, it's not. Okay, First
E3 is
off,
good.
the
Yeah,
data-
yeah. You may as well want to ask the journalists that all got their information leaked out from E3 last year.
for one, and for two, it's simply not convenient. Like you're better off watching the show from your home rather than on the event itself, because you get more information that way instead of just waiting for
Does
stuff
that
to happen in there.
does that really? No, well, hold on. Does that really make it better though? Like, I get it. Yeah, I mean, I could Google anything in the history of the world right now. It doesn't mean I'm gonna like get a better, not like I could easily get a more interesting time reading it out of a book, and it's just tough. I get why it's archaic. I get that it's more convenient, but I feel like there is a feeling of E3 that can't be replicated by just reading something on the fucking internet for 5 minutes. You know?
I mean, my real hype is going not like my hype nowadays is going towards shows like Tokyo Game Show and Gamescom, which are both huge game shows that prioritize the consumers first over the game announcements, and they still and the developers do make really important announcements in those events as well.
Yeah.
Other shows that actually do the job as well are PAX, which has gotten really good at it, especially because they now are starting to understand that they need to have a balance between gaming conferences and gaming events, such as esports events. So PAX is really good. I also think that I think that those are really good. PAX, Gamescom, and Tokyo Game Show. Those are the places I place my hype about.
Yeah, and it's
Rather
constant
than
all
on
year.
E3.
And
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry to cut you off, Phil, but I agree with you. It's just a lot of the bigger companies are shifting towards their own presentations. They're not. There's some are using the trade shows. Others are just having their live presentations like Nintendo. And with Nintendo gone, they've been gone for a while, and well, having a press conference, and now Sony's not going to be there. Who's left? Microsoft, Bethesda, EA, Activision,
Who are
Ubisoft.
also some of these are starting. I don't know, man. I get
Are you
it.
kidding
Like,
me?
I get it, but like you can't like people grew up. Most of us grew up with E3. You know, I mean, we can't just downplay the idea. You know, I'm not saying that they're not better alternatives. I get it, but it's like I'm not gonna shoot your fucking dog and tell you to get a new dog. He's gonna be better. You know, I'm not gonna John Wick you.
Wait, it's. I know it's hard, but
No, no,
look at the
no. I mean,
state.
come on, man. Like,
Look at the state of the show. It's
no, I
It's been
know.
going
It's
down.
no, I know it's dead, but you're like, I get it. Like, I'm not gonna like because how you always bring up all these other shows. Like, I'm not gonna shoot your dog and then tell you the new dog is fucking better. Get over it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like don't rub it in. That's
Yeah,
what
don't
we're
rub it
saying.
in. It's like it sucks. It's dumb. We all agree, and it's justifiable. Like Review Tech said, it's for sure. But there's a part of the heart that just feels really sad about it because it's what we grew up with. You know.
I just gotta say, I'm sorry about your dog, but you gotta get over it.
They killed
Okay,
my dog.
that was a bit cold. What I was trying to go.
They-
with, but I
They
see
killed my dog. I'm gonna
They
John.
killed
I'm gonna
my
go get some
dog.
guns. I'm gonna John Wick.
I am now the puppy killer. Oh boy.
You should have finished the job. Oh, I love that movie.
I hate you guys.
I hate myself too. It's okay.
Oh my god, this was
Yeah, but like, fuck. The damn dog is dead, man. Let it die in peace. Poor Fido.
Damn it.
Poor Fido didn't even get any video games, man.
Let's.
I feel like with Sony pulling out of E3 and trying to do this, I just feel like they're in that weird state. But like, I don't know. It's like that time of year is special, and I feel like now that everyone's moving away, now we're not gonna have a special time of the year, or well, fucking Game Awards. I guess that claim is ironically becoming real.
Yeah.
Oh
But-
fuck, that makes me salty.
E3, if I can go down memory lane, where it's placed at the start of the summer, and kids and people are getting out of school.
Yeah,
So
I
you work
mean,
all
you
year.
can't replicate that.
You work all year to have the good hype news because you really want a reason to bug your mom to buy you the hottest games come out this holiday season or early next year.
I mean, it's consumerism at its finest. Don't get me wrong, but it was such a beautiful cycle, and it's
It
like
was.
knowing that that's gone just makes me feel upset. It's like because now that everyone's moving away, who's to say that they have to reveal a bunch of games in June? You know,
Now it's whenever they feel like it.
Yeah, and then it's just like then games start to feel less special throughout the year. I don't know. And I feel like that's a trend we're kind of going through that I don't want to admit, but it's starting to feel real where it's like some of these games just don't feel as special anymore because it's like we don't get that once a year hype cycle for the biggest of the biggest, and then now that we can hear about new games every single day in a realistic sense, it's just like I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'll play it. I'll play it when I play it. But back in the day, it was like, that's coming out. They're getting a sequel to that. Oh man, Christmas is going to be so fun this year. Now it's like, I'll play it when I play it.
Yeah, you play it when you play it, and it's just this general vibe of companies that I don't know. You're right. It's really hard to quantify and talk about in the words, but
Yeah.
the
I think
death of
Devil May
this.
Cry was the last big game that I got super hyped for that I was genuinely because like Kingdom Hearts 3 I was hyped for a decade. But like Devil May Cry 5 is the last great E3 announcement because well no I guess RE2 happened but we kind of Devil May Cry 5 and RE2 are the last two great E3 announcements that actually paid off in a really fun time that was worth playing day one.
Yeah, and
I
actually,
mean, I am still just. I mean, the real hype announcement was way to the woods. You cannot change my opinion. Fuck off.
Okay, Mr. Deerfucker. Good for you.
yeah,
Always rejoice. Anyway,
some of these announcements are also going to like fighting game competitions, like even Evo and like other majors are being the ones to spill some juicy news on games people are waiting for.
and they're
Which-
actually doing the hyping. I mean,
It's
people
really
are already
hype.
people are already considering Evo the E3 of fighting games.
Yes,
true.
Yeah, it's pretty true.
I've been to CEO last year and CEO Otaku, and the hype when Guilty Gear characters were announced. Or
Oh
new fighter.
man, when Guilty Gear got announced at Evo, I was fucking lit up.
It it reminded me of me being in a stadium of hype people at a football game. It's just that same feeling of joy and hype when something epic happens.
Yeah, and that's why like the idea of E3 dying just hurts because like there's always room for that kind of feeling, in my opinion. And I don't know. I think the Game Awards has too much of a fucking like meme status about it that it's like I don't respect it as an E3, even though I want to kind of respect what Keighley has been doing. It's not the same as like Miyamoto walking on stage with a fucking. Sorry to cut you off, but like one of the best moments, like Miyamoto walking on stage with a Master Sword and a shield.
Didn't he do that?
He did do that when he revealed Twilight Princess.
Right.
You just don't get that same feeling from something like Game Awards.
Mm.
I don't know.
There are some highs, but yeah, you're right. It's nothing comparable to those epic moments we all remember from 2004, 2006, 2001. I mean, just crazy stuff.
What were you gonna say, Yul?
I also think that this could also see as a positive as well. You know, you'll be able to see this hype in other shows. Like I said before, Evo is a huge deal because of it. So
yeah, I mean, I think I'm being cynical about games, but I think the level will return when something like RE3 comes out, and we get hands on Final Fantasy VII remake. That's gonna be really fun. I just think we're in a lull period right now where it's like I think every year you kind of after that holiday season boom, you kind of go through this. Man, I don't like video games anymore. And it's like, no, that's not true. It's just, you kind of get into that period where things are weird.
yeah. Like I believe that the hype will not die. It will just transition to other shows. That's my opinion. So,
That's possible.
Yeah, like for example, we already see this in at Evo. We see a lot of hype announcements on Tokyo Game Show. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Project Sakura Wars was announced at Tokyo Game Show right after E3. So imagine the hype that I got because they brought back Sakura Wars and it's amazing. Yeah, people don't give a shit about Sakura Wars, but it's a property of Sega that people don't care about.
What?
It's
Well, we had a literal debate about this at the end of Heroes or during Heroes. I'm pretty sure where it's like, what the fuck does Sega make other than Sonic at this point?
well, now it's Project Sakura Wars, boy.
Which is it even being made by Sega in house though?
Yeah,
Okay, then wow, I'm actually surprised that Sega is actually developing an in-house IP other than fucking Sonic.
I
Right.
know, right?
Good for
That's
them.
actually kind of all right. Even if I don't like Sakura Wars and don't care that it is a good game. Like I've heard a lot of good things about it. I just am not that. I'm personally not interested, but cool. And good for them because Panzer Dragoon is not being made by Sega, by the way, right? That's outsourced.
Yeah, it's going to release this year internationally, and the music is amazing. There's already an anime plan for it. You know,
I mean that's not bad thoughts, but they maybe just make the game before you start going multimedia.
the
Okay.
the game's already been released in Japan. It's just gonna be released
Oh,
overseas
okay.
in 2020. Yeah,
I got you. Okay, then yeah, anime. That's you know what, cool. I mean, good for Sega for actually relying on something other than Sonic to make some money.
yeah. So yeah, Project Sakura Wars looks to be a really hype game at the very least. But back to the subject, yeah, I still think that the hype is not dead. It's just in hibernation or some, or going to transition to something else instead. So
Yeah,
like to other events. So I'm not, so I'm relieved at least in that aspect. And the fact that, the fact that it's run by the ESA kind of made me numb to the death of it, to the death of the event, especially because now they're trying to bastardize the event instead of just trying to go out with a bang. Nah, just have people from Lakers play against each other. Have influencers just control the medium and the messaging. You know what? Fuck
yeah.
Let's scream at every announcement, right? Bethesda?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of okay. Let's stop. It's starting to get into that shoot the dog, rub it in your face, beat a dead horse level of. Yeah, I mean, it is this, and this is it. So it's like E3 surviving past 2020. I would be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, let's.
I am cocking my shotgun.
Yeah. Okay. Let's not.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, let's start burning through a little bit of the extra news. Like, there's a retro video game store opening up in New Jersey called J2 Games, and they're going to be offering the chance to buy older generation games, rare games. They specifically want to focus on old rare games, and that's dope. I think there's not enough retro stores because a lot of mom and pop ones are either shut down or just so obscure that you're just not going to know. So it's cool that one is opening up in a big place like New Jersey to really get that kind of thing on the map. Let's look up other video game news real quick before we get into our last, not big topic, but something that Yule kind of wants to talk about for a little bit. Anyway, Yule, do you want to take the floor with our last topic for the night?
Sure, it's going to be a little bit of a politics center.
A little heavy, but I don't think a lot of us have a huge input on it. So definitely, Yule can take the floor with this heavy soapboxing. I mean, what?
Thanks, asshole. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit concerning that the US people are basically being spied on by the NSA for the sake of quote unquote security. And Murahart kind of went on this tangent that this is perhaps that the NSA threw Microsoft under the bus. Okay, so I use Windows for gaming, obviously. I love using this operating system, and it's the operating system that people tend to use a lot. I've been told that I can move away from Windows by using Linux, but what really
Linux
bothers
is
me about
archaic,
this?
by the way.
Hmm?
Linux is a little archaic and hard to use.
I mean, yeah, it really is. I know how to use Linux and program, and I know how to use Linux's code functions and stuff. But that's the real problem with it. Like, if you're gonna use like PC gaming already, people tend to say that it's a huge barrier of entry. PC gaming is expensive. You literally have to spend $500. You fucking serious? Um, um that that PC gaming is expensive, that PC gaming is hard to get into, that drivers, that blah 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 blah, huge barrier of entry. I don't care. Like, but
I can
to
get the
tell
argument
people
that
to,
it's like it is expensive because I mean I know you have to buy a console every couple of years or whatever, but like you have to buy new PC parts every like 2 years almost at this point.
uh-huh.
But
So
anyway,
yeah,
continue.
back to the point when I was going. I believe that it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, telling people to move to Linux when they clearly don't know how to program for Linux.
Yeah.
It's kind of like telling people it's kind of like saying, why the hell do you want that game console when you can just make your Switch play PC games which patches
Oh, now you're
and
doing the leg on
jailbreaking and
thing.
stuff.
Stop it. No.
Yeah,
No.
like telling
Hey,
people
only
to
I can do that voice. You're
yeah telling
infringing on my
the,
copyright.
like you buy a system for a
Hate
reason.
both
You
of you.
buy a system for the convenience. That's the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
to turn it into something else is not exactly going to be enticing to people, because for one, you're not gonna play the games you were going to play on that system anymore, and for two, it's going to be a bitch to work with. So why the hell bother? I will
Yeah.
bother
Well,
because
it's like we always say in our LPs. Like you can have a workaround answer, but a workaround should not be the answer to your problems.
yeah.
In some cases, some like obviously there are cases where workarounds are needed, but you know what I mean. Like you get the point.
Yeah. In
The
my case, for
technology.
example, yeah, I can go ahead and install I can install Linux right now. People already know how powerful my PC is and how much of a fucking dumbass I am and being stubborn so that I can actually program on Linux. But for somebody like Zeus,
Or even me.
yeah, who doesn't really know about Linux, the operating system, how it works and stuff like that, I can't tell them to go to Linux just like that. Come on, man.
No. Yeah, it's for sure. Like it's just hard to really sit there and expect people to do that. And so yeah, but
But at the same time, I also do not approve of a company like of companies like the goddamn NSA just spying on us through our fucking data, because I do have a really good point that data is really important, and the fact that we don't take care of it as much is really concerning,
Complacency.
especially because
I'm sorry.
it's complacency, but at the same time, I also think that you know we just don't really know how valuable our data is, so
well, it's
we
like
just give it
why
away.
it's even why YouTube is going through like a problem it's kind of going through where like
The COPPA thing.
the COPPA stuff they try it's because YouTube is trying to take so much of our data, and they're even
Yeah,
taking it from kids, so
yeah.
you'll definitely have a point there.
I do agree with Mura on the point that people are starting to shift away from Linux. I mean from Windows and going into other operating systems, but it's going to take a while for people to get used to that as a standard.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
And
it's the perfect example. YouTube. It's like YouTube has all its problems, but it would take forever for a new one to step up.
yeah. So I want to end this point by saying that I do not approve at all of the NSA spying on my data, but at the same time I cannot be bothered to, switch operating systems. So what this looks to me, rather than just any vulnerability that happens in Windows, it's more so the NSA not wanting to exploit this avenue anymore. And there are other backdoors that the NSA has access to. They just don't tell us because you know making that public will pretty much screw them over. So yeah. It's a bit of a complicated issue, which can and will and has gone into tinfoil hat territory, but got it there and
Yeah.
stop rambling at this point.
I think we covered the main basis that it's like it sucks because a lot of people use Windows and it shouldn't have this problem, but we kind of don't have another choice because Windows is kind of the best thing we have in terms of a seamless operating system.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah,
And-
and
Yeah. Anything you guys are looking forward to in the next week, though, as we're wrapping up? I think that's kind of it for this week, really.
well, not really.
Yeah.
Don't we have a
I feel like
tournament coming up? Or
Huh?
plays our cross tag battle tournament?
Oh, that's
All right,
something-
our cross tag battle tournament is next week.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty fun.
That
We're gonna,
is-
we're gonna have another tournament. So, is that the one that's also sponsored by Bago?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so that's good promotion because on the Bagocast you hear it. We're doing that tournament, so cool. I'm excited for that. I'm not looking forward to it. Oh, looking forward to the sports ball championship game today or this Sunday. For all you nerds who don't want to say football,
Handball.
handball,
Hand
kickball, who cares? Yeah, I'm looking forward to the sporting event this weekend.
Same here.
Other than that, I'm not really looking forward to a whole lot. I'm gonna just keep catching up on my games and keep working, and hopefully get out of the damn training so I can actually not be bored to death during my day.
Well, on my end, I'm planning on going to Hollywood Studios on Monday since it is a 3-day weekend for me. So that'll be
Ooh,
a fun trip and seeing the buzz about the latest Star Wars attraction.
yeah, man, have fun with that. That's cool.
I'm just looking
get
forward
that.
to Final Fantasy 14 patch 5.2, eventually trademark.
Yep. I'm starting to think on the podcast we should have a section called Legons 14 bullshit because
My crippling Final Fantasy 14 addiction, why you should get addicted to.
we're not going to tell him to stop talking about Final Fantasy. It's the thing he's most passionate about, really, other than Smash.
Yeah. I believe that if we gave him a section on a channel,
If you gave me a section on Final Fantasy 14, I'd make it its own thing.
yeah.
But anyway, any LPs that are coming up soon?
We're doing the Simpsons Hit and Run.
Okay.
Eventually.
fun.
Yeah, that's probably a good cooling down LP. Zelda: Link to the Past is going to be continuing. We recorded new parts of that recently. Mario World should be ending. Heroes is ending. Yeah.
And Alan Wake is ending after Layers of Fear 2. So,
After
Yeah.
with that.
A lot
Far
of
too
good
long.
ending. So we got Hit and Run coming up next, and what other more Persona 2 should be coming soon.
Yeah.
soon
As soon
trademark.
as soon as Lego and I can get to it. So,
Because you guys haven't figured it out yet, we're still bad at making outros. So, fuck off.
not bad at making outros. Just we're done for this week. We've pretty much talked about everything we can talk about. I'm tired. Let's get out of here.